1051.
J.Cole is in the building.
What up? How you?
I'm emotional, Cole.
Ooh.
Cause I came in today and I had watched your performance at Letterman last night, which was it last night? It was last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
And so I was showing some people in the room, and I've just watched it again. Just got emotional all over again.
Word up.
Wow.
Thank you.
Even Letterman came out. He looked like he was shooken up.
Yeah,
he didn't
that threw me off. He was
did?
like, whoa, wow, whoa.
Oh, God.
wow,
Oh, my God.
wow.
And he kept saying, oh, my God. He probably thought, there's a little rapper coming out. He's going to do a little. He thought you were going to do a little ditty, a little rap song.
Turn up for
yeah,
sure.
he didn't know what was going to happen. No, it was super powerful last night. And the verse was what? The verse was new, right?
Yeah,
you just wrote that.
I never did that one before.
Had
I what?
So you hadn't performed any of that before? I mean, the
verse.
The verse, right.
Nah. I was actually in rehearsal and was like, oh. I rehearsed the night before. I was real nervous about that performance, by the way, like super nervous.
But when you say nervous, why? What do you?
Because I'd never performed that song before. B, when I made the song, it was from like such a crazy place.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go back to that place. You know what I mean?
Like you want it to be authentic. You don't want to be acting now.
Exactly. But lo and behold, so we did rehearsals, and in rehearsal I was like, oh, this is the spot for this verse that I got. This is the spot.
So you just decided then?
Yeah, the night before. And then when we got to they do camera block before, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm good. I got this. Like I made sure like I tapped in. I went and read some articles and like even watched the Eric Garner video again, so I could like put myself back in the mind frame of like, okay, what was
what were you
the
feeling?
purpose exactly?
Yeah.
But once they bring you out. And the people was in the audience, and the lights is off, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, J.Cole. And the song started. The first thought I had, was like, I can't do this.
No.
I started getting emotional.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
I'm not gonna make it through this thing. But I did it, and I felt amazing. But at the same time, while I was doing it, I was like, shaking, yeah, exactly.
Because you have to, because it's like the realest thing probably you've ever done on a stage, right?
Absolutely the most important thing I've ever done. Like,
I mean, I know you. I know you're great on. What you do, but this whole time, what you put into that song and doing it in front of on a stage like that's
Word.
In front of you doing that in front of America.
You're right. It was crazy too. Looking to the audience. The audience was, it's David Letterman audience.
Yeah,
the audience was like 97.5% white, and like
I thought you meant 97 years old.
Maybe that too. Maybe 97
yeah.
years old. It was like an older white crowd, which is no problem. But it was like I saw right away. Okay, this is who I'm speaking to. But I was really impressed because when I had my eyes closed until I started rapping. But when I started rapping, I saw everybody in the audience. Mind you, I just told you what the audience looked like.
Yeah.
Everybody was like this, like zoned in, focused, and it's rap, and it's like you could tell every word was resonating, and like they were following.
Right.
It was crazy.
I can't. And then afterwards, what happens?
Oh,
after it's just quiet. I imagine it was quiet, or did everybody just shake it off?
No. After the performance was done, no, I think it was like whoa, like they clapped the cheer, and I walked away, and I caught eyes with the dude, I forget his name, the guy that like runs the band, and then the lady that plays bass, I think, and like it was a real moment with her too, because you could see she was emotional, and I just like seeing her, and you could see like it was a little moment between us. It was cool. She came back to holler at me after the show. That was nice.
Isn't it amazing what you could do with music?
It's amazing. It's the most powerful thing.
It's not always, because people don't always use it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
By the way,
when you use it that way,
it's even just as powerful when they don't use it. It's just the wrong type of powerful.
Right.
It's just as powerful.
Right.
We don't notice it because we can't like see, but it's just as powerful. It's just using this power the wrong way.
Does that scare you at all?
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. When I was young, it didn't matter. It was like now I'm like I'm sick. I'm sick. I can't. I like some of these songs too. I like a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when I really think, I'm just like I'm getting sick. I'm tired. Like it's not cool no more. Like we've been singing the same songs for 30 years. It's like, these dudes is portraying a lifestyle that A, they probably didn't live, and B, even if you did, you don't no more. But you still trying to milk us and feed us this and sell us this. You know what I mean? You still trying to pump this lifestyle so that some kid somewhere is like, yeah, that's how I want to do it.
The interesting thing about you and finding this in yourself, right? And it's because it's true, right? And so is that there's a responsibility then that you're going to carry. That's what I'm saying. Do you feel the weight of that? You know what I mean?
Sometimes, sometimes it depends.
Right.
So I'm just living my life. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
right.
sometimes I do feel like, okay, I'm looking around like, well, who you gonna expect this guy to say something? Like,
Yeah.
you expect this guy to do something? Like, you know, like I'm understanding like I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing people a disservice for all the years. Cause it's not like I just started feeling this way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is the type of person I've been my whole life. And especially when I started really looking at the world when I was like 19, 20, like, oh, okay. When I stepped out of Fayetteville and really looked at the world from like an aerial point of view.
Mm.
But for the past 4 or 5 years of my career, I always been very like politically correct. You know, like riding that line in interviews.
Because you're a nice
like,
guy.
I'm a nice guy. I don't want to offend nobody.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like, but at the end of the day, I realized I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing people a disservice because I could say one thing. If I'm speaking my mind and saying how I truly feel,
Right.
I might say one thing that connects the dots for somebody that might have been the right connection that was needed to like do something to change the world or something. You know what I mean?
Well, that's from that old Pac. That makes me think of the old Pac.
The same mentality, or like
where he says that I will.
Yes.
I may not change the world, but I will spark the mind. Of
and
the
I know what he means.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just give the world as much as you can of how you truly feel, and just know that it might live forever. Something Bob Marley said might live, it's gonna live forever, but it might just now, it might not resonate with the right person
Yeah.
who is the one until 50 years later. Pac said might not resonate with that right person until 20 years from now. You know what I mean? So it's like I know that for me not speaking, I'm leaving. I'm not offering to the world. You know what I mean? I'm like really just being selfish in a sense.
Does it feel like it puts you in a box then? Like, will you feel like you always will have to do a certain type of music? You know what I'm saying? Like a certain.
No, I don't feel.
No.
I feel like I can do whatever I feel. You know, like if this is how I feel 10 years from now, and I'm still just as passionate, then this is what I'm gonna be talking about. But if
Honesty.
just like I'm literally telling you how I feel. Like I'm. So if I feel differently, I'm gonna talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you why I feel. If I'm happy and it's all love, it's like I'm gonna talk about that. If I'm down in the dumps, I'm gonna tell you why. Or you're always gonna get where I'm at. I'm never gonna feel like, oh man, they expect me to do this, so I gotta do this. Like I'm just gonna do what I feel.
Oh, it's so needed. It's such a breath of fresh air, man.
But
People
thank you.
appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, man.
Thank you.
I watched you when you went to Ferguson, and I was watching the interview you did, and
Which I did not want to do, by the way. That my home.
you know what you didn't, but it's.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did because,
No,
like
me
you were
too.
saying before, somebody got to speak. Somebody got to be able to
You're right.
have that voice and speak to certain people, and in a way that you know what I'm saying, that
No,
can make a
you're right.
difference. So it was really dope that you did that.
Thank you.
But I connected to also to the point of like people got to do stuff. But you were saying that you used to do stuff when you were in college a lot. That you'd go out and we're
Yeah.
more active.
Yeah, for sure.
And then life happens.
Yep.
And it becomes challenging to be, you're a father or a mother with a family and kids. You got to pay the bills. You got 2
Yes.
jobs. You may not have time to go protest.
Yes. That's the system we live in.
Yeah.
They love it. I don't know who they is. But
Right.
whoever the powers that be or whoever constructed the system or however this naturally happened, the people at the top love the fact that everybody is so busy with themselves and their own lives that they don't have the time to stand for something or to fight for something. You know what I mean? Like even somebody like me who in college, I was like president of the Black Student Union. We was holding meetings every week. We was talking. There wasn't a lot of action, but we was talking, discussing ideas, talking about the world. Like, what can we do? It was a little bit of action in our minds of what we thought, but it was like even somebody like me who was a little more aware and who was hip to like what's going on, at least cared, is graduates college and it's like, oh man, I gotta pay my bills now. Like I gotta get this deal before my time runs out. Like life happens and you worry about all of this stuff and you don't have the time to fight for nothing no more. You don't have the time to even care. Cause I got my own kids. Like I ain't like, yeah, this man died, but it's like, yo, bro, I got bills and Twitter's popping right now. And Instagram is hot, and Love and Hip Hop reunion is on.
Right.
It's like they love to just distract you and like keep you occupied. While they just molest the world and milk the world. You know what I mean? They love it. They love us.
What would you like to see happen if you could paint the picture of what next year or the next 5 years are gonna look like?
In terms of what?
Just the country, the way it's set
I would
up,
like,
what's
man,
happening.
Man, look. I think about this stuff all the time.
I bet you do.
So my biggest thing is I think it's
if you could change one thing even.
I almost don't even want to say it.
Why? You gonna get in trouble?
No, I wouldn't get in trouble, but I just feel like it's like blasphemy in this country, or like in this world we live in. I feel like the system we live in, the system of capitalism, that like teaches every person. If I walk past you on the street in New York City, I could be absolutely positive. I don't know you, I never met you, but I could be absolutely sure that when you walk past me, just like you can look at me, I could be sure that whatever you're doing in your work, in your life's work, is for you and for your benefit only. It's literally for your life and for your monetary gain, because you got to survive and you're worried about you, right? So everything you do, whatever your job is, even though you do your voice in New York, you like, you know, you for the people, it's still like your career. You trying to rise in your career. You can look at me walking past you on the street and know it's the same thing. You might not ever know me, but you know, I know that guy's trying to get it for him. And that's what capitalism teaches us. It's like, it's a every man for himself mentality. It's a I got to be on top. For me to be on top, I got to have a bottom. For me to own McDonald's, I got to have somebody at the bottom working at McDonald's. For me to own any company, any business, capitalism is like, to me, it's like, I don't know the alternative. I don't even know if it exists. I don't think we've evolved to something that exists yet.
Right.
But capitalism is like, it's just paid slavery. It's the same thing as, it's the same setup as slavery. Only difference was slaves wasn't getting paid, but it's the same setup. I own this plantation. You are at the bottom. I got some managers right here that oversee the field. They get paid a little more than you, but they ain't that much better than you, better off than you. They feel better because they on top of you. The manager at McDonald's feel a little better than the dude on the fries. Better. But it's like, you ain't that guy. That guy's milking everybody. You know what I mean?
Who is that guy?
That guy. It's only a few of those guys in the world.
Yeah, a few of those guys.
Those guys. But I don't know who they are. And I don't know if, you know, but I know that that's not, to me, that's not a system that does it anymore, because it's selfish and nobody cares about nobody. So if I'm in the pharmaceutical business, I'm not making the drugs that actually help people. I'm making the drugs that make money. What drug is gonna make money?
Right.
Why would I make a cure for this disease? Ain't nobody barely got that. That's not gonna bring me a profit. So, you know, I just feel like everybody's using that. I say this: if somebody makes something amazing for the world right now, and it changes the world, like the iPhone, like the people really needed it. It really worked. It helped people, the iPhone, whatever. Now there's a video camera on. Somebody brought that to the world. Instead of somebody else saying, thank you for making that, changed my life. Let me now make something that could change the world and help the world. You only get a few of those things right there. The rest of the 99% of people who have like the capacity to do something and the energy, they all spend their time not trying to make something new and just as beneficial. They're just trying to make the same thing but cheaper.
Yeah.
They're trying to make this exact same product but for a little less money. You know, I mean, so I can make more profit. They're just trying to capitalize off something that's already. So we got a bunch of people in America doing something that don't need to be done just to make money. It's like you're doing something that's not needed. You're providing a service to the world that's not needed. You're making food that doesn't help. It actually hurts us. That food is killing us, but it makes money. You know what I mean? That television show is hurting us, but it makes money. This music is killing us. It's rotting us, but it makes money. That's the system we live in. That goes for any industry. You can look at it and go, that's not helping the world. But it's making money. So it's helping somebody. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the root of all these problems.
You're absolutely going to piss many people off.
I already know. That's why I didn't even want to say it. But I was like, it's been on my heart. So I'm like.
But you've been saying things, even some of the music, and even, you know, to talk about race a little bit, right? Because you the song where you refer to Elvis and
right,
Eminem, and
Fire Squad.
The only headline is beyond what the point you were trying to make is it gets belittled to a headline.
Why? To the headline of J.Cole, this is Eminem. Boom. Right. Why does that headline exist?
So that the blogs can then get hits,
the clicks,
and then the hits can get advertisement
money,
and then everybody can make money.
Everything we see, that headline that you saw,
yes,
it's not the truth. It's not the actual, but it is a perspective, that someone took and made. So they gave you the most enticing headline for you. They made the most enticing headline. Why?
What our whole industry
they can make money.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but this whole system is not set up to bring truth. It's not set up to bring the real news. The news ain't set up to inform you. It's set up to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I was a communications major. I know the entire communications, this building right here is run off of advertising dollars, advertising money. That's the only thing that keeps this shit rolling. It keeps money in everybody's pocket. And it's like, we got to fall in line. We got to get the job. I need to eat. It ain't my fault. Like, I'm here.
Some people are a little more ruthless and heartless than others. I think there are some people, even within the system, that do try to. With morals and some integrity.
For sure, but come on.
But no, I'm clear. Trust me, I deal with it all the time too. Up. But then I wonder, like, so then the message gets blurred, right? So, but just for clarity, so the people who receive that message, that then you're getting at Eminem or you're dissing Macklemore, or what is the true message?
No, for sure, man. People got to know that I'm like, it's silly how big of an Eminem fan I am. You know what I mean? Like, when I had the song Let Nas Down and I talked about like hanging his raps up on my wall, he wasn't the only one. It was like a very select group of like top-notch people that I worship. You know what I mean? And that Eminem was literally at the top of that list. My first song just sounded like an Eminem bite. You know what I mean? So if you think I'm dissing Eminem, I know you just read the headline. Right. You're not listening to the song, or you're listening to the song with the headline in mind. That has nothing to do with dissing Eminem or dissing any of those people. That song is that verse, not even that song. That part of the verse is an observation. Just making the observation of culture right now, what's happening. And to give you an example, I just was looking for new music the other day, maybe like a month or two ago. And I was like, man, I just want to go listen to some jazz. Like, I just want to know what's jazz sounding like right now. Like what? So I went to iTunes, which should be like, it is really what tells you what's happening in music right now, commercially, like who just dropped the album. So I go to iTunes. I never been to the iTunes jazz page before. I've been to the hip hop page. Right. I've been to the front page. I never went to the jazz page. I went to the iTunes jazz page, and I was like, oh, it hit me.
What was there?
You can go right now, the entire page of iTunes jazz is 99.7% white people on the jazz page. Now, mind you, so somebody might be like, so what's the big deal? I mean, music is music, boom, boom. It's fine. Anybody can do whatever music they want. It's art, whatever. But you have to understand that at one point in time, first of all, jazz is a black form of music in its origins. And not only was it black form of music, it was the hip hop of its day. Yeah. It was that much of a rebellious music. It wasn't the traditional. It was just freestyle. It was like purely black. And in its height, you know, whether it's Coltrane or Miles Davis, it's a purely black form of music. So now it was just really interesting for me now, 50, 40 years later, however long it's been since jazz has, been commercialized or whatever. It's just crazy for me to see that page is like all white. It's like, whoa. And it hit me. Even before then, it's like, this is the point in time where you see that switch in hip hop. It's like you're literally watching it right now. When
whose fault is that?
It's the system's fault. It's just it's nobody's fault. It's not Iggy Azalea's fault. It's not Eminem's fault. It's not. I don't want to put Eminem in category with anybody in terms of like skill level or whatever.
Right. You don't want to put Iggy and Eminem in the same.
Right. Exactly. I'm not trying to make that comparison. What I'm saying is, there comes a time when the system realizes that I can sell this white person a lot easier than I can sell. It's no conscious person saying, "Hey, man, let's sell her instead of him, or him instead of Macklemore instead of this guy."
Yeah, no,
it just becomes easier because this guy looks like the majority of America.
The crowd at the David Letterman show.
Word. Exactly, it's easier. Yeah. It's not one particular person's fault. It's a product of the system that can capitalize more off of this artist. White jazz art, Kenny G. I grew up thinking Kenny G was jazz.
Yeah, me too.
I remember like somebody talk about jazz music, I'd be like, oh man, yeah, like Kenny G. And as I got older, I was like,
you could get slapped in the wrong place.
I get smacked everywhere for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as I grew up, I'm like, whoa. That's because when I was born 85, that was like probably the height of like corny jazz, like elevator music jazz. No disrespect to Kenny G, but it's like that's what I think of when I was thinking of that era of jazz.
And then so you fast forward and think that this is what's happening.
Yes, I fast forward 20, 30 years from now, and I see hip hop being like, completely white, which is not saying white people can't do it. It's like Eminem is the perfect example. He's done hip hop better.
Right, but let the culture be pushed by something real, not by capitalism.
Not by capitalism.
Yeah, I get that.
And this is every time black music form has come into existence, this has happened. You know what I mean? This has happened, whether it be jazz, whether it be rhythm and blues, whether it be rock and roll.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like this is happening. Now black people being at the bottom of America and being the ones that are the oppressed people in America, and I know some people gonna hear that and be like, oh, oppressed people. Yes, being the oppressed people, the bottom of the totem pole in America, but still strong enough to always find a way to like sing about it and like come up with something new and be creative. And it's like, what happens? Something new emerges, whether it be rock and roll, whether it be hip hop, that comes from the bottom. And what happens? The world gets a hold of it. America gets a hold of it.
And ruins it.
They fall in love with it.
Yeah.
They don't even know they ruin it. They got like, it's like got to be some story out there where everything somebody touches just dies. And that's the system. Every time the system touches it, every time the system gets a hold of it, it's over. It get commercialized. It gets pimped out.
I can't lie. There was something about, and I hate to put it back all on you, like you're the grand savior and put all that weight on you. But there was something in the moment of you performing that song on Letterman, a song that was not on your album, you were not clearly not there to sell an album so much as use that opportunity in that space. There was something so poetic and just honest about it that when watching it, I felt the absence of how much I see that. You know what I'm saying? How we don't see that. And so I think that is a start of maybe changing that is artists being willing to step out on the line and do stuff that is honest and not necessarily.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be amazing.
I mean, I'm just trying to offer maybe a thought on what
positivity, right? I don't mean to dwell on the negatives.
Yeah, because you're making me very depressed, Cole.
By the way, welcome to how I be feeling. Like, you know what I mean?
Insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I watched the performance and I showed it to him. I was so emotional and choked up twice. I was like, I need to see something.
My fault. You asking me the questions.
Yeah,
I'm
it's real. What could you do? You can't, ignore things that are real and are happening in the world.
Yeah.
But do you feel that weight in your life every day?
No, I have like days where, I have amazing days.
Okay.
And even some of my amazing days are spent talking and thinking about this. This is like, it's just a passion.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's become a passion to think about, okay, where we at as America.
Yeah.
Not even just as black people. I'm half black, half white.
Yeah.
I care about both sides. You know what I mean? Like, I see an aerial view. Like, I see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? So a lot of my life is spent, of course, just living life. You know what I mean? But a lot of that is spent thinking about this and like trying to figure out like, what can we do? Like, what is the answer? And maybe I always just try to get to the root of the problem. Like, what caused all of this? And then what can be a solution? You know what I mean? So I spend a lot of time thinking about it.
I think a lot of people do too because they don't know, they don't have an answer and nobody has solutions. People just become kind of complacent.
For sure.
And I think that at least having conversations about it, at least having music about it, at least inspires or provokes conversation that will hopefully lead to.
We need it.
Yeah, yeah.
It has to be a balance because just like you said, when you saw that performance, it was like, whoa, you realize that we ain't had that in a minute.
I haven't seen that.
We haven't had that in a minute. It's like, that should not be the case. You know what I mean? We got into a cycle. We've been pimped. You know what I mean? We've been pimped and we've in turn been pimping ourselves, and like we got into a cycle of thinking that like this music that we sell to the world or that we ingest is like really represents us. We really think that this music represents who we are. You know what I mean? It's like if you really take another listen to what's being played right now, what's being said, it don't represent us no more. You know what I mean? Or I don't know if it ever did, or if it just really represented what could be sold and what could be marketed and what could be pushed. Does it represent a mentality of a small amount of people in this community? Yeah, sure. An exaggerated version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it don't represent who we are. But it's all you hear. That mentality is all you hear. You know what I mean? Like what's being glamorized is all you hear.
Have you gotten to a point that you don't even like or can't appreciate that type of music?
I'd be lying if I said I did. You know what I mean? I'd be lying if I said that I can't appreciate that music. You know what I mean? I don't want to seem like that guy that's like, I don't want to seem like Bill Cosby telling people to pull their pants up. You know what I'm saying? When he went through that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to go through that. I do listen to the music. I don't listen. Okay. I don't never spend a day in my life riding around listening to any of those songs on my iPod or like on my phone or whatever.
Right.
But I definitely, when they come on, I can appreciate them. If I'm in the club, if I'm in the car, if I'm, if it's in, if it just comes up, if I'm with some of my homeboys and they playing music or we in a group setting and it's on, I can appreciate it. It's hard, like, but no, I don't waste none of my life riding around listening to none of that stuff. I'd be lying if I told you I did that, but I also be lying if I said I can't appreciate it. Like
right in a moment that it made sense.
But in the grand scheme of things,
yeah, it probably frustrates you more.
It frustrates me
so
because that's all there is.
Mm-hmm.
I could see if that was like, if it was at least 50-50, you
right,
know what I mean?
Yeah,
then we could have a different conversation.
It's kind of out of hand. What about, like, you mentioned Love and Hip Hop, or, not to single them out, but that type of entertainment?
Trash.
Yeah, can you even?
It's trash.
People say, oh, it's mindless, oh, it's fun, it takes my mind off. You can't even, don't engage and watch none of that. I can't watch it.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's like World Star Hip Hop. It's like if it's on,
Mm-hmm.
please believe it's drama. So it's entertaining. It's drama at the lowest level. It's the lowest level of entertainment you can have. It's
Mm-hmm.
trash, but it is entertainment and it's drama. So if it's on, I don't watch much TV. I don't really get the time to watch much TV. But if it's on, like, I will catch myself like, oh. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But at the same time, I recognize this is trash. Like, this is corrupting people. People thinking like, you know what I mean? They don't even realize. They just like, oh, it's on TV. It's just entertainment. It's like, okay, well, where's the balance? Where's the other ones? You know what I mean? What other shows do you watch? Or do they, not even do you watch, because I don't want to put it on you. What other shows do they show you that can counter this? You know what I mean? Or is this all you get? Is this the majority? It's like the music.
Yeah.
What other music can counter this right now? It don't name me. It don't name Kendrick, because it don't.
It's not enough.
It ain't enough.
It ain't enough.
And we just got here. So what was happening before that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, that's trash. All that stuff is trash. And it's like, I understand what you gonna turn down. If you're somebody on one of them shows.
Goes back to capitalism.
What you go to capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm on them shows and I used to be hot, or like I'm like a aspiring model, but it's like they want me to come on the show and act crazy and give some drama. It's like, you think I'm gonna turn down $10,000 an episode or whatever type of money you think I'm gonna turn that down? I got bills to pay. I gotta exist in this society.
You can understand and have compassion, but you
because the society we live in.
Yeah.
We live in this system, and that's why I was trying to say earlier. It all comes down to this system. Anybody will do, for the most part, anything for the money, and I don't just mean people that's pimping themselves out on TV or even really just selling their bodies. I'm talking about people that go to a job every day that they hate. You sold out too. Yeah. We all sellouts. You selling out. You're going to something that you don't like. Why? So you can live and survive. Life don't feel like it's supposed to be like that no more. You know what I mean? It don't feel right. It don't feel like somebody's time got to be worth more than $8 an hour. Word. You spend your whole day going to work, 8 hours out of your day. Day is only 24 hours. You're going to sleep 8 of those. So right away, that's 16 hours. Half of your day is making $8 an hour. Even if you get 15 an hour and they trying to raise minimum wage, it's like, what, to 15? An hour of my life is worth $15? Okay, but I got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to work. I got to eat. You on the plantation, man.
You're depressing me again.
I can't help it.
You make it.
That's how I feel. You asking me. You need to ask me some other questions.
No,
album. Ask me about the album.
No, but it's so
some
interesting.
Happy stuff.
I loved, you know what I mean? This is good. This is good and much needed conversation,
By the way,
Cole. I'm kidding when I say I'm glad. Okay. I'm happy to be a little bothered. I'm happy to be a little disturbed by our conversation, because it's a conversation that should have. But we should talk about the fact that your album is, they are saying, going to do in the capitalistic world very well.
Back to this.
They're saying your numbers are looking, you're going to have a very successful album.
Well,
how does that feel to you right now?
It's a blessing. It feels like, it feels amazing. I don't really necessarily ever believe their numbers.
Really?
No,
really?
Because they've been wrong every time. And they've always been wrong, but at the same time, I don't even care. On this album, it's like that joint could have did 2 copies, 5 copies, 10 copies. I would have been happy, because to me, it's the first time I ever felt successful before I dropped the album. It's the first time. I was like, wow.
I did it.
I did it. Yeah. So anything that happens after this is all a bonus. You know what I mean? And I'm going to work the album. I'm going to give it its proper promo, because I didn't do that for the other albums. I'm going to give it its proper promo. Like, I'm going to give it the real tour. I'm going to give it a year worth of, like, because it deserves it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's the first.
So good. Oh, it's
thank
so
you
good.
very much. But it's the first time I wasn't waiting on the first week numbers to feel like, okay, we did it. Now it's like, nah, I know we did it. The numbers, whatever they are, is just like icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
Word.
All right. So where do we see you? Like, I have visions for you, and I feel like you're gonna do a lot of great things. But where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Do you have any thoughts about that?
5 years?
Yeah.
I will be 34.
What are you gonna be doing? You're gonna be like running for some sort of office or
Nah,
something.
no,
You're
no,
gonna
no,
be
no, no.
organizing some sort of.
No, I don't want people to have those type of expectations of me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I don't believe in I don't even really believe in politicians, and I know there's some good ones out there, probably a lot of good ones out there, but just that system to me is like, just the fact of running for office, you have to be dishonest. You have to be. You have to be. You can't let people see. That's what I love about what I do.
Yeah.
I could be my worst self and tell you all about it.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. Now I could give you my best self, and then you know both sides of me. You know what I'm saying? But for running for office, being a politician, it's like you have to lie. You got to literally lie to people. And if some dirt comes out on you, you got to clean it up. Instead of just embracing, like, look, man, I'm a regular human being like you. I done did some dirt. Marion Barry, who just passed away. Like, yo, yeah, I'm addicted to crack. I'm a drug addict, but I still got the heart of the people. I got what's best for the people on my heart. So if y'all can deal with me and what I've been through, like, I'm here for you.
Right.
I'll be with the community all day. I'm here. Like, I'm the best bet y'all got. You know what I'm saying? If you could deal with this other side. But we live in a society today where it's like they want you to be flawless.
Yeah. You can't have smoked weed.
Nah, exactly. It's like, nah. So I could never see myself going down that path because they don't accept reality. They want you to lie to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Our president tried, I believe, too, when he came in.
Try to keep it real, right?
He did.
Yeah.
As much as he could. As much as he could. You don't think so?
No. I don't know. I don't
know.
I voted for Obama twice. I drove from New York to North Carolina just to vote on both times. So you know what I mean? I that was at a time when I still believed, not in him, but I believed in like
the possibility.
The possibility.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little less optimistic. Like
really?
I just realized like.
Are you disappointed in him as a president or just
no,
the system?
Because I don't know enough about what he really had to go through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how it is. You don't know what it's like behind them doors. You don't know what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? All we could do is sit here and like speculate. So anybody says, I can't say I'm disappointed in his presidency because what could he have I don't know what a president can actually do. I don't know what anybody can do in this system that don't want you to change it.
Yeah.
The system literally does not want you to change it. It's a system. You know, so what can you do? You can only work within the confines of the system. So it's like
I keep hoping though, like you said in the rhyme you did on Letterman, that something is gonna really happen right before he's
that's how
he's
I
done.
feel. I feel like right before he get out of office,
he's gonna do something. I feel like that too.
You know, I feel like he do it right now though. He's not.
You don't have to run anymore.
Don't got to run anymore. But then also he just like I don't know a lot of politics, but I know he just like lost the House and the Senate or whatever. So that was not good. I don't know enough to even really be talking about politics, but I definitely have that dream of like he just does some crazy power move right before he get out of office. Like,
I'm sure we ain't the only one that
had
that dream.
But nah, I don't really know. I don't know no more, man. I don't know if it's charades. I don't know what's going on. I just want to live my life. You know what I mean? And go from there. I put out my headphones.
Amazing. Well, Cole, I'm thrilled about everything that's happening for you. The album is dope. Everybody go support that, and we can start there, huh? A little support.
Damn, was that the happiest thing we talked about?
You want to talk about? Let's talk about something happy. What is the happiest thing in your life right now? What is the most joyous? What is the most joyous, bright, optimistic thing?
That's a big loaded question.
Yeah, but that's okay. What do you got? There's got to be some amazing
appreciation.
Okay.
Appreciation. It don't sound big, but it's big.
Yeah.
Like appreciating everything. I didn't do that before. This whole 5-year journey, I didn't do that. Right now, I'm making sure like I'm taking the time to be like, yo, I'm on Angie Martinez Show. Like,
oh, stop it.
I bought an album when I was like,
Why you always tell me that? Stop it. Stop it.
You know what I mean? Like I'm making sure that because there's no guarantee that you're gonna get this back, and I took that for granted on like the mixtapes and the albums. It's like I was like, you know, just so caught up with career. Where am I at? What they saying about me? Oh, they not gonna put me here? They really gonna leave me out? Word? All right, I'm gonna show them. Boom. Never taking the time to be like, yo, you just did Angie. Like, yo, you just put out an album. Yo, you just did David Letterman. Yo, you just so like that's how I'm living my life right now. Like appreciating my friends.
That's a happy way to live.
Family. Oh, it's so much better. It ain't when you've been in the habit of not doing that. It takes work. I'm not saying I've mastered it and perfected it, but I know that ultimately that's what the whole album is about. Basically, is we didn't even talk about, but that's what the album is about.
We did talk about it because all of it really goes back to the album.
Right,
it really does.
But it goes. So the album is saying basically what I'm telling you right now. What I realize is like the monetary, the material, even the success and like the things that you place your importance on never can satisfy you and ever make you happy because they never end. There's no amount of money that will ever make you stop if money is what you care about. You'll keep going. Oh, I got $1 million, gotta get 10, got 10, gotta get 100, got 100, gotta get 5, got 5, gotta get $1 billion. If it's cars, you'll never have enough cars. If it's women, you'll never have enough. You'll be chasing them forever. If it's success, you can never get enough of that. I realize that. It's like, it doesn't stop. It keeps calling you. It's like a drug.
It's a hamster wheel.
It's a hamster wheel. And it's like, you're never satisfied. But if you place your importance on this, which is like appreciation, love, you know, it's like that is enough. There's enough of that in everybody's life right now if they just took the time to look. In my life, I just took the time to look around, people that's around me, the things that are around me, like the blessings I have, and that goes for everybody. The homeless man on the street can still wake up and go, man, I'm alive.
I got my limbs.
I got my fingers. Like, my man just gave me $1. He ain't have to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he has things that he can appreciate, and we can, if we look for those things for happiness, then it's attainable. If we look to the other things for happiness, it's never attainable. And that's what, to me, that's what this whole conversation was about, and that's what that album was about. It's like we placing our importance as a country, forget the country, because that's whack to me too. As a world, we placing our importance on the wrong things. We've let the system in the world tell us that these things are important. The new, you got the flat screen joint, but you ain't got the 16-inch.
Right.
You got the 16-inch joint, but you ain't got the 16-inch 3D. Oh, you got the frames, but you ain't got the 2015.
It's exhausting too, by the way. It's
man.
Exhausting.
Tiring. But the world tells us that.
Do you have things? Were you always like that? No, right?
What do you mean?
Like, do you have things? You know, like, I know you were saying that, you know, shame on you if that watch is too expensive. There's people
No, I got those things.
But you got things
That's
like
what made me
right?
say it. Because then when I got them, I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like, why?
So you got some expensive watches,
for sure.
and some jewelry.
I got expensive watches, jewelry. I sold my car. I had a Range at one point. I sold it. I ride a bike now through.
Do you really?
Manhattan.
Do you have no cars?
I don't have a car. No.
No more car, just a bike.
No more car. Yeah.
What about your jewelry? What'd you do with that?
It's still there. And I look at it. You know, I wear it.
Yeah.
It's just that I got it for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? And it's like, it don't mean nothing, man. It don't really mean anything. It didn't mean anything when I got it. It was just from being a kid. My cousin had jewelry, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And Jay got jewelry. Oh man, I want to be icy like that. I remember the first time I seen, not the first time I seen Drake, but I seen Drake at a show. It was in like Toronto. It was a Jay-Z show. He came out, and then, mind you, he's like on fire because So Far Gone was out. I think I just had to warm up out. I was coming out opening for Jay, and then when I met him, he had the Rollie. God, Rollie's so cold. Like, gold Rollie's so crazy. And you want it. Like, you see things, it's marketing. He wasn't marketing it to me, but somebody marketed it to him that, like, Rolex is important. And, like, I seen it on him or seen it on Jay and, like, gotta have one. You know what I mean? And, like,
did you get one?
For sure. I got a few.
Yeah, you got a few, right.
Right. So it's like, but I've hit the point in my life now where it's like I'm a grown man and I realize, like, I'm questioning why did I want it? And then what did it do for me when I got it? You know what I mean? And it's cool to have whatever. You can have things all you want.
You're not judgmental of somebody.
Not judgmental at all.
Yeah,
have your things, but don't place your value on those. Like, don't place value on the thing. It's just a thing. It ain't real. It's not real. Like, to me, what's real is like something spiritual, something like a connection with somebody. Like love is real. I'm realizing that as I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and
are you in a relationship? Sorry, is that too personal for you? But do you have that love? A little too personal? You don't do that?
Definitely.
I just wonder, because when you say love, do you mean like relationship
love?
No,
that type of love too.
That
for
too.
Sure. That's like the most.
You don't talk about that type of stuff?
Nah.
Okay.
Because I put so much stuff in the music, it's like I would rather avoid that. But that love, relationship love, family love, mother son love, like, I'm realizing how important that is. Like, just to become successful, I had to, like, in my mind, I had to, like, just put my head down. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not calling my mom as often. You know what I mean? Like, it's like my family, my brothers. Like, man, I'm blessed enough to have these people alive and well. It's like I want to better those relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the rewarded things.
1000%.
Ultimately.
this was that part. That part of the conversation was very inspiring.
Oh,
I mean, it
there
all
we
was.
go. There
It
we
all
go.
was.
Nah, nah,
Actually, it all was. It really all is, and it's such an important conversation to have.
That's the answer. Love is the answer. All that stuff we talked about earlier that depressed us and gets me worked up. Ultimately, the answer to all of that is like love. If we would, as a people, as a world, if we would just embrace that would be the fix. If I looked at you, I don't know you, but I was like, man, I love you because we from the same. You black, I'm white. I'm white, you black. It's like, but we're in the same. We're just human beings. We brothers. You know what I mean? I love you. I ain't gotta. But it's all the stuff that messes up that message. I feel like we're gonna evolve there one day. If not, then I ain't gonna. I'm gonna quit talking about it. Because if it's gonna be like this forever, half and half, like, you know, the world is always messed up if you look at it this way, or it's great if you look at it this way. If it's always gonna be like that, then it's like I'm wasting my breath because you can't change it.
You're never wasting your breath because if you don't talk about it, then how does the change ever happen? You have to try. You always have to try. Right. You can't give up.
Oh, I feel you. But sometimes I wonder, like,
yeah, but giving up is never the answer.
Not give up, but sometimes I wonder, like, is the world always gonna be like this in some way, shape, or form? Like, even though it may change in appearance, will it always be good and bad, top and bottom?
It may.
Boom, boom, boom?
It may or may not. But let's say you don't change the world. But let's say you change the world for 100 people. Is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then you don't ever quit.
Word.
Right.
Yeah. There we go, Angie.
It's good talk. All right.
Word.
Well, the album is amazing. Everybody go get the album. I had some like fun little silly. You want to do a fun question and leave it on a happy, fun,
sure.
light note? I just did this. I did this panel the other day with Chris Rock. You know, he got the top 5 movie out.
I want to see that.
Did you haven't seen it?
Bad.
It's good.
Shout out to Chris Rock.
But what in the movie they talk about who's your top 5. And so I did a panel that I hosted with him and Rosario and a couple of journalists, and we did our top 5s.
Rappers?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know that conversation always gets fired up.
Never gets old.
Do you have a top 5?
I can tell you one right now. It probably changes all the time, but
tell me right now who's your top 5.
I mean, it circulates the same people, but it's hard because it's really like 6 or 7. But so Pac off the top, out the gate, Nas, Big, Jay, and then that slot right there is like Eminem's, Andre 3000. You know what I mean? It's like I can't really
it fluctuates.
Yeah, I want to say Dre so bad, but Eminem was like solo dolo. Andre had, you know, he's incredible.
Yeah.
But he'll tell you himself, like he was in a duo, so it was like his workload was a little less. But creatively, he's miles beyond. So that's like
that's your 5 and 6.
I think so.
Your 6.
Yeah.
Those are your 6.
Yeah, I think so.
And of right
Angie
now.
Martinez. Why you don't never want to talk about it, man?
Because
I want to ask you about that time, man.
What do you want to know? Because it's weird for me. It's not. I don't know. It's like it was a small phase in my life. It's not like you where you have this like gift and it's so natural and it comes out organic. For me, it was like if you take like a poetry class and it was dope for you and you did it for like a year.
That's fire.
In college, and then you left and now you go on to your other life.
That's dope. But
it's like if you run into somebody in the street all the time that's like, remember when you did that poem in poetry class in college? You
because I bought it. Like it really like
I know.
I bought it because I was in New York. I was like gassed because I was in the Virgin mega store.
That's the cutest thing.
I was
in
like,
life.
yo, it just dropped. I got you. I got Pun. I got like a bunch of stuff. Like, yo,
that's
like
so cute.
Official. Angie Martinez.
Where is it now?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So why must we still talk about it?
Why bring it up? That's my last
In
time.
2014
That's
is
my
all.
last time.
No, it's very cute and very sweet.
Word.
All right, so there's your top 5. All right,
Yeah,
well,
man.
I love this, and I could talk to you you can stay here for 2 days. We can
Yeah,
talk.
for sure.
It's much needed conversation. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Can we have it one time, please, for J.Cole for coming through?
Thank y'all, man.
There it is.
Word.